what's your name, mate?
Montana.
And what's your name?
Katana.
Okay, and what teams do you guys play for? What grade group?
For under 8.
And you play under 8s, and are you a forward or a back?
We don't have position.
Oh, okay, and did you play today?
Yes.
And how'd you get on?
We lost point here, but the ref was really mad.
Oh, okay, the referee was mud. And it's Conica Minolta Root Rooster Challenge. And can you tell us who's playing today at the home ground that we're at?
Certainly, we're at Prince Edward Park here to see Papakura take on Marist. Papakura have been the giant killer so far this season, taking down both grand finalists from last year, Mount Albert and Point Chev. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep it up today, and they had a very convincing win over Northcote last week.
Excellent. And do you know much about Marist in regards to how they're tracking through, believe they're halfway on the table at the moment?
I think they've had their fair share of wins. This will be a big step up for them though. The Papakura side look very, very mean. They're very well coached, organised, structured. So, but Marist will certainly give them a run for it in passion alone.
And in regards to the Root Rooster Challenge, can you tell us how that works?
So the Conica Minolta Root Rooster is a perpetual trophy that passes from one club to another when they are beaten on their home ground. In the third match of the season, Papakura took it off the Mount Albert club, who were holding it over the off-season, and now they're defending it here today against Marist.
Excellent. Well, look, I know you're going to be busy today, and I'm probably going to come back and get some insight in regards to who the player of the day will be for Lone Star Player of the Round. Last night's game.
Yes.
What was your thoughts on that?
A clinical, organised, structured, in fact sometimes boring game towards the end. There's nothing to be ashamed of in that defeat. Given the amount of injuries and people missing out of that side, I thought the Kiwis did particularly well. And if that's the best Australia's going to bring to the World Cup, then I think they might be in a bit of trouble.
Love your work. Catch up with you soon. With Big Bad Bill, and down here at the Kura match of the ground, and it's also a Conica Minolta Root Rooster Challenge. Vibe in the club over the last 4 weeks. Tell us a bit about that.
Been very good with the 4 wins that we had, and of course taking the Root has been a big factor in it, and we plan to keep it hopefully for the rest of the season. And yeah, it's a buzz really, and our squad's looking fairly settled now, and it's looking good. Yeah.
Mate, after the Mount Albert one, I saw you there. That must have been one of the first stepping stones. Point Chevalier scalp taking it home, Mount Albert their place.
Yeah.
Setting up for the rest of the season. What's your expectations?
Well, I would expect us to be playing finals football at this stage, but it's still a long way to go. So if we get some injuries, you never know what will happen. But I'd expect finals football.
Mate, and a side note, who was your player for the Kiwis last night? Who was your player of the match?
Jordan Kahu, fullback. Yeah. He's superb.
Hands down.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Look, I know you're busy.
No.
I'm going to let you get back to it. Thanks very much for your time, mate.
Good on you. Thank you.
So with the head coach Marist Saints, and we've got a Conica Minolta Root Rooster clash coming up against Sea Eagles at home, mate. Anything prepared differently in regards to coming into this match for you and the team this week?
Oh no, this week's been a pretty hard preparation. We're round 5. We've got a lot of injuries, a lot of player changes this week. So it's this week's more a matter of getting some depth in the club. It's a chance for some of our reserve graders that have been performing, and a lot of our youngsters. So you'll see some new names out there today, but that's the future of the club. You've got to develop sometimes when you've got this amount of injuries. So that's what we're doing today.
So is that a couple of the young guys coming through?
Yeah, a couple of our young guys coming through.
Okay, and sort of who are you having a look at for this week then to be sort of blooded into the Fox?
There's 2 new guys on the wing, both young Isaac and Ozzy. Both guys with enormous potential, but they've only this is their second game of Fox. So yeah, we've got to have a good look at them, and we've got a young 2 young back rowers, and Scott, our new loose forward, and then coming off the bench we've got Ani as well, coming back into the mix. So yeah, I think we've got from our game last week we got 8 out. So
wow, so that's a massive wholesale change.
Yes.
In regards to how you're tracking for the season though, are you happy with where you're at on the draw given the cards that you've been dealt so far?
Look, mate, it's I think as we all know, it's a a little bit different at Marist. We haven't always had the depth, and today's going to test us. But the boys just want to make it clear we're not making excuses. You get dealt those hands with injuries, and you've just got to make the most of it. They step up, and there's only one way for them to get experience, and that's out there on the park. So yeah, we're tracking, about where we are. Sort of hate to say it, but it mirrors sort of last year a little bit. We had a lot of injuries this time of year, so yeah, we're hoping to get some of those long-termers back on the park in the next 3 or 4 weeks. But in the meantime, we've just got to develop, which is good for the future of the club.
And your senior group, who are you looking forward to lead the way today?
Talia Pepe has been playing very well, and same with Fernando Ikaroma up front. As long as they're ever reliable, MISI, they've been leading the way in the middle of the park. Yeah, it's just a pity we can't leave them on for 80 minutes. Yeah.
All right, mate. Listen, I know I've cut in just as you're getting your team sort of geared up for today's match. Best of luck for the rest of the season. I know we're going to catch up, over the next few weeks.
Yep.
And good luck for today's game.
Awesome. Thank you.
Conaka Minolta Root Rooster Challenge, first one of the season for Papakura. Has that been part of the chat leading into this week's game, mate?
Interestingly, it hadn't been mentioned. I was talking to the coaching staff after and said we hadn't mentioned anything about it, which isn't a bad thing. The reality is we're still looking at our football, and we know that Marist always comes with a lot of interesting questions.
Mate, the start to the season, is this what you'd planned for?
I think most coaches hope for. Planning for it might be taking it a little bit too far. We're happy where we're at. As mentioned in previous weeks, I think the boys are working hard. It's nice to get the results on the back of it, and yeah, we're wary of a Marist side who in the past have kind of been around in the last couple of years at least and sort of knocked us off our perch. We certainly want to hopefully put on a better display today.
In regards to your personnel, you okay with injuries and what have you? All the boys in good nick?
Yeah, surprisingly they are. I mean, there's a few niggles. We're sort of moving the side around a bit as part of the where we are, how we're travelling. So we're sort of flexing the squad, and that's working okay. The physicality of them fairly good nick. A couple of boys back from reserve grade duties that sort of fringe over there, so it'd be nice to see them have a run.
I know you're always pretty keen around your shape, your structure. In regards to your team this week, what are you looking for them to achieve or to at least execute against Marist?
It'd be nice if they can be more consistent with it. I think we've done a fairly good job in the opening weeks, putting on a bit of a display around understanding, but we've dropped off in patches. I think if we can take those patches and carry them a bit longer, when I say longer, I'm sort of probably looking at around about 15 minutes of fluent footy. I think it really sort of tells me that we understand it enough to actually wear it.
Okay, and are you looking to do anything different this weekend? Coming in against Marist, anything sort of trying something different?
Well, we'll probably focus more on a lot of the little disciplines, third man in on the tackle, getting around the legs, trying to slow them down that way. We've talked about our edge defence, having to get up and force them to play a little bit further back so that they're under pressure. Hopefully that we can forge an error out of that, but put them in an uncomfortable position. Those things I think we have to improve on in any general bit of football. This is a football team that kind of really gets you some clarity as to how well you're doing it.
Okay, and look, just a side note, Kiwis last night, who was your pick for man of the match for the Kiwis?
It's a tough one, look, Jesse Bromwich is hard to go past because, it was a defensive, huge and an impressive defensive effort, it has to be said. There just wasn't a lot of firepower, but from that result, I thought Jesse was consistent. He asked, I got a lot of little questions on the back of not a lot in his favour. I thought, it was a tough one. The Aussie just looked like an impressive athletic football side.
So what do you want to do? Kick off or try and run? We'll so you guys kicking off down that way. Sweet. Alright, straight into it, eh? Go.
We're not together. Listen, we might as well be on the motorway going home.
Okay, with captain of the Papakura Sea Eagles just after the Minolta Root Rooster challenge against Marist, mate. Tell us your first thoughts about that game.
We know, Marist has a big team. You can see it out there on the field, but the boys just started the game really well, and I think we just carried on with that. We were just punching forward and really tied up their big boys, and it sort of got us what the points were today.
In regards to leading into this week, was there any strategy taking place in regards to what the team was going to deliver on, or was it just to keep shape and play the game?
To be honest, we're just playing the same way each week in, week out. We're not trying to make a few changes depending on. It doesn't really matter who we're playing against. We're just trying to strengthen our game what it is, and we just try and hold shape out there and just get our forwards going forward. That's all we need to do, really.
Well, mate, congratulations on your first defence of the Root Rooster, and good luck for the rest of the season, mate.
Cheers, thanks.
Just coming off the back of that game, mate. First thoughts from that match?
Just went bowling on us. It was the plan to go to them and pull off it.
And mate, you played a pretty good game off the back of a sort of a broken match. A couple of boys in the bin didn't make that make it easy for you. Is there any learnings you can take out of this moving into next week?
Yeah, just basically discipline and just take away a couple of main players, and then our structure just cost them. Yeah, then there's just all on us. Only we can get ourselves and set up for next week.
Well, look, mate, I know you're feeling a bit disappointed. The boys are warming down now. I want to wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season, and I'll catch up with you over the next couple of rounds.
Yeah.